Yeah. Ooh. What's up? Yeah. What's up? Fucking Thursday, baby. I know you've been wondering lately. As you're coming in, hit that old like button. Yeah. Gonna hit a bomb. Why it take you so long? Take you so long to hit the bomb. Chase, what's going on, bro? Guys, as you're coming in, hit the like button. And also, if you've got any questions, concerns about anything, hit me up. Ask a question. Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Dominic. Hit the like button, get in the chat. Pick my brain. What's going on, Dave? I'm always here. We're never going anywhere. This is it. The rest of my life being spent with you guys. Cronus, what's up? Good morning, Jennifer. Oh, shit. Wake and bake, baby. Wake and bake, baby. Oh, damn. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions for old Davey about life, love, guitar, whatever, I'm here. Okay. All right, so our first question. All right, first question is, any tips on using loopers and drum machines for practice or performance? Okay, so as far as using a looper goes, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, right? Because every looper is a little bit different. And if you're using more than one looper, you have to sync their clocks because they all have a different little internal clock in them that dictates where the loop starts and stops. So it's really hard to get two loopers going at the same time if they're not synced up, right? The best thing to do is to work on your rhythm because this really helps with your tempo, right? This helps you with you keeping time. So if you're wanting to do a fucking Fire on the Mountain, you would do, and I'm going to start my loop. I'm going to start my loop like on that first hit of that note. So, and you always want to make sure you hit it as soon as it starts. You want to hit it on that like downstroke or like the next hit because you'll see it loops back around. Right? It's the main idea is to try to make it to where it's like it is so hard to tell that it has started back over. That's the whole idea, is that it keeps going, right? But that totally depends on you and how well you can keep time. As far as drum machines are like that already does it for you, right? That gives you your tempo, that gives you your BPM, it gives you everything already. So that, like, drum machine definitely more reliable than a looper live. But you can get those Boss loopers, the ones that have like the buttons on it, and those are pretty good because they'll like automatically kind of trim where they need to go. But they're expensive as fuck. I have just a little Ditto. Excuse me. I have just like a little Ditto looper that I use. And then I've got another like Ditto clone. Because you can get these clones of these loopers for like $40, $30 on Amazon. So I think that it's really smart to practice with a looper because it teaches you how to play with yourself. You got to learn how to play with yourself. So it's like, that's that Fire on the Mountain. Gotta let my fingers wake up. It's like a really easy way to get yourself practicing and working on stuff without like having to keep up with a backing track, right? Because sometimes it's better. There's kind of like this toss up between what's better between like doing a loop and then practicing to the song. Because I can pull up a Fire on the Mountain backing track and solo all day over it. But there's something to be said about having that space, right? When you're using a loop. What else we got? John Sweeten, baby. I was gonna message you after I get off here. I saw your message come through on Instagram. I actually got locked out of my Instagram yesterday, but I got back in this morning. But I love you. I'm happy to see you. We're gonna talk. Okay. John Sweeten is one of my dearest friends from high school. My life is I love guitar. Fair enough. What's up? Any tips? Ryan says any tips for soloing over one chord? China Cat, and I know you're right, for example, just stays in D mixo for a while and not sounding boring, stale. Okay, so if you're, so basically, if I remember correctly, that jam is just kind of a, so it'd be like, so you get to the and then we go to the D. See if it loops back around. It's okay. And again, perfection kills success. Okay? So it doesn't have to be perfectly perfect all the time. So if we're just hanging out in this D major, the best thing to do is stick to those shapes. Because again, I teach things purely in shapes. So you've got shapes and patterns. So the shape that you're going to want to use, you've got the D shape here. Let me see what my close-up looks like. All right, so you've got the D shape here, right? So you've got these notes to play with. You've also got this D here. You've also got this D here and up here. So one of the best things to do is to take it in quadrants, right? So you can build solos depending on where you're going to be at on the neck. And all you're ever doing when you're soloing is tracing those chords that are, you know, relative to it or it specifically. So you've got that D, and you've got like this D shape right here. So, and then I'm already in this A shaped D right here. And so I think another important thing is to change up your phrasing, because you can pick that's the whole idea behind soloing, right? You're having a conversation, you're talking, right? So the best thing I think you can do is change up your phrasing, like pick little motifs, ideas. And the best way to get that is to kind of like decide on a little bit of a repeating line maybe, or you already have an idea of what you're going to do. So it's like we all guitarists, we're a bag of tricks, right? So we have our specific things that we like to do. We have specific things that we know we can do. So if you feel like you're running the same little trench in your, like either in your brain or on the neck here. So like I have this thing that I do. So I have this little area. So the A shape of the chords is generally like the easiest shape to go off of because you're just holding your finger there in a straight line. And from there you can go a whole step on basically from the A up to the G, right? And then from there you do a half step and then a whole step on the E. And which leads you to a passing tone, which makes you go up, right? I mean, it's not that difficult. You should go buy my course. I explain all this in that course right there. I do. I promise you. But so the idea behind it is you take that shape. So I always find myself going back down to that D root too. Like finding your root is always the best way to kind of settle out, right? But the idea is to keep talking and say different things. So if you have like specific ways that you do like a scale or a pattern that you figured out that's in key, start changing up little things in it, because that's the only thing that changes what a guitarist does, right? Like, so again, we're always all playing the same shit. We're just slightly changing it up so it sounds different. Well, that's it. There's really no other trick to it other than you're just kind of like changing the inflection of a word you're saying. So just actively change what you're doing. So if you're stuck in an area, that's because you're going on autopilot, right? Because it's harder to do things. It's so much easier to not do things than to do them, right? Isn't that a John Mulaney joke? It is 100 times easier to not do something than to do it. Something like that. But it's the principle remains the same with almost everything in your life, right? You have to actively make these changes. You have to. It's okay to kind of go on autopilot for a second to get you started, or if you're in a point where, what's the best way to describe this? If you're in a spot where you're kind of like, treading water, but I actively go into those moments. So if I was doing something and I was kind of running out of ideas, I would settle myself into a repeating line. So if I've got my D root right there, I would start doing something like this. And now it's fast and it kind of sounds technical, but I'm just hitting 4 notes. I'm just doing it fast. And what that does is that gives me a second, like even though it's kind of fast, I can do that no problem. Repeating lines, you can generally kind of just hit them. If you've practiced them enough, you can do like... And your hands can take care of that while your brain can kind of be like, okay, well, I can go here or here or here. And then from there, you decide what to do once everybody kind of like you do that for like a bar, or you do it for 4 bars or, whatever. However long you want to hold that repeating line out, you can let that and make that build up to like a breakthrough point or like a big fucking rich, like, those bomb chords. So that's, I'm sorry that it took forever to answer that, but that's what it is. I love you. What's going on, everybody? If you haven't yet, please hit the like button. Get in the chat. This is one of our monthly workshop Q&As, so get in the chat and ask some questions. Any tips on sweeps? John, you know I don't. Buddy, you know I don't know how to sweep. I don't know how to do that shit. I'm not that technical at all. Thoughts on Grateful Shred? Well, I have a video. I have a video on the channel of me watching their trucking video, and I feel like the name Grateful Shred is a joke. Like I feel like those dudes would be a really cool hang. I just like 3 guitarists and not one took a ripping solo in that whole trucking is a little. I think it's a misnomer, but I think it might be purposeful because they're super chill. Oh, Dies for Days, like I was about to jam to some Jeff Williams. Shout out Jeff Williams. Grateful Textures. Yeah, I call them Grateful Textures because I mean, it's not that they're bad. It's what else did I say? I said it was unoffensive. Like it's unoffensive. They're not going to do anything bad. Like it's not bad. It's just there was nothing to like, oh shit, you know what I mean? There was nothing that like fucking got me. They sound tired of playing almost. Fair enough. Dad dead. Oh, shit. I love that. They're like the dad hats of Deadheads. Fucking out there rocking New Balances that they cut the yard in for 3 years. But also, I don't want to, like, really talk shit. Because, like, I'm going to meet these people, you know? At some point, we're going to end up running into these folks. But I'm also not going to, like, lie about it. I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to genuinely kiss ass when I'm out here, like, trying to do it. It's just like, I want to go play all these places, you know? I want to go play Red Rocks. I want to do all this shit. And if you don't think that you're kind of doing it, like, because I don't think that I'm doing it the best. I don't think I'm the best. I never have. I think I'm trash, you know? But some people like the way I do stuff. So I'm going to run with that, you know, because this music means a lot to me. And for the longest time, it just didn't feel like anybody wanted to hear me play it. And then, you know, like with all the stuff that Toby and I have written, we have our own music, all that stuff. It was really crazy to see the response that we got for this channel and everything. And it's really crazy that at this point we have people all over the U.S. that are wanting us to come and play, like St. Owsley to come and play. And I'm talking to a booking agent on Sunday, I believe, and we're going to see what we can work out about like someone handling that for us, because with the load of the channel, it's really hard for Toby and I to kind of really work on anything else. So it's like the St. Owsley needs to have its own booking agent. It needs to have somebody who understands the music, understands the venues, can take a list, because we have a list from you guys of where we should go. So I have that written down of venues and cities. I need to pass that off to a booking agent and just be like, oh, please. And then we'll be able to come and see you guys and do the thing. Because, like, motherfucker, I'm trying to play Red Rocks at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to do the thing. Let's see. There's 0 good dead bands in LA. Dude, we will fucking destroy out there. That's the whole thing, though, is that, like, I don't think that there's really anybody that comes with the balls that we do. There's, like, that's one thing that I've noticed about a lot of Dead tributes, that they feel neutered. Does that make sense? There's like, they so badly don't want to fuck it up that it feels like hermetically sealed. Let's see. Pepper says he's enjoying the course. Man, I love you, bro. I hope it's helping, because, you know, when you put something out, you never know if it's actually gonna, like, help people and do the thing it's supposed to do. But with the course, you get fucking charts and backing tracks that go along with it. You get all these fucking video courses within there. Let's see. It's hard to when the dead was basically a cosmic moment where everyone just came together. Tough to craft it alone. Well, it's just that the music is there. Like the way that I view it is that like there's a reason that this stuff is timeless, right? Because most music that stands the test of time, there's something about it, right? And I think that that's because the people who were channeling it were truly just like giving into it and letting yourself become the lightning rod. And I think that that music is always there. You just have to be able and will let yourself tap into it, right? There's that idea of it doesn't matter who's on stage, right? It's about what's coming through. Because in the moments when we're doing stuff, because like I have no choice but to be kind of like a servant to the music. Yeah, serve the song. It's like that's the music is my religion. Like you know what I mean? Like this is my way of communicating with the universe. This is my way of dealing with trauma. This is my way of like dealing with negative vibrations and turn them into positive ones. Transmutation of energy, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's really, to me, it's almost a disservice to not fuck it up. Like get weird with it. Like how else do you stretch it out? How else do you actually find out where you stand? You know, like I've just been playing this music for so long, like by myself and on the street. Like there's different contexts that you bring into each song, right? Because anytime that I'm singing one of these songs or playing one of these songs, I am that song. I'm living that song. Whatever it is, and I can't help but do that. Every time I'm singing something, even if it's one of my tunes or anybody else's tunes, I have to be able to put myself in it in some way or another. I'm either a main character, or the narrator or something, right? I'm either a character in it or the narrator or, the person developing it, right? Completely omniscient. But that idea comes with like that genuine nature. Because I can't help but give it everything, and it's hard for me to watch people who aren't giving it everything all the time. Because like even in rehearsals, I'm balls to the wall. I think you practice like you perform. That's how I feel because it's like it never changes to me. I'm always fighting for my life. I always feel like I'm fighting a fucking dragon, right? And sometimes I fucking get burned. Sometimes I fail, but that's how it is though. You have to fall flat on your face. Like you're never gonna be perfect. You're never going to be a perfect player. So it's better to fall on your face sometimes to test your mettle than to never try at all. Let's see. I like to sign up for the course. Just another time at the month. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so when you sign up for the course, you get it forever. It's just a Dropbox link, and I'm never gonna take it away. I'm never gonna put a time limit on it. Have it forever. You can also download it. It's big. It's like almost 90 gigs, but you can download it if you want. I mean, all the charts and the backing tracks I suggest you download, but you can just watch the videos within the link. But yeah, it never goes away. I'm never gonna get rid of it. Dylan, I'm sorry. This is it's a live workshop, Q&A. I understand that was a question, but the answer is maybe in a little bit, depending on how many more questions we get. I might play some tunes. I don't know. Wasn't prepared for that. Is this your first workshop? So I do one of these every month where you get to ask me questions about guitar playing or about life. I mean, no one really does that, but that's okay. I end up talking about it anyways. Favorite genre outside of Deadass stuff? Probably 80s pop. I really like. What would you consider the Talking Heads? It's like 80s pop rock, 80s alt pop rock, something like that. Funk pop rock. avant-garde funk pop rock. Oh, Jason, fuck yeah. Alt rock. Okay. Let's see. But I love like fucking Phil Collins. I love Paul Simon. I love Peter Gabriel. You know what I'm saying? Steve Winwood, baby. Higher Love. Give it to me. Right? So that's like, I love that sound. I love that 80s kind of pop sound where you've got like those deep electronic toms. Like my dad was a huge, because again, my dad was my best friend. And like, so he taught me how to shave to Phil Collins. You know, it was like one of those things. It's like we always bonded over music. So I have my father's taste in music. I love like 60s doo-wop, Motown, R&B. I love all that shit, dude. Jackie Wilson. I loved Smokey Robinson, Al Green, Four Tops, you know, fucking old school Ike and Tina. So I've got like, so that's why my playing is the way it is. So it's like my playing is similar to Jerry in the sense of like, I have some of the same influences because I grew up on like all the stuff that he was listening to around the time and stuff before that. Like my dad was into like the 40s shit because he was born in the 40s. So it's like, I would hear all this old ragtime shit and I would hear all of this like gospel, like good gospel, not like, you know, So I have a lot of the same influences, but then I have like those new age pop rock, alt rock influences as well that also add into my playing. Have I been to any? Oh shit! How does the stock Fred buffer compare to the Waldo buffer? It's a clone, so technically it's the same. And Waldo was probably a little upset about that, and that's something that he mentioned before. I don't know if that's actually true because I love Freddie and I'm a big fan of Waldo. So I don't really have any stake in if there's a beef there or anything, but I feel like that's what he said to me once. So it's a buffer. I mean, it's really just like a FET boost on a little circuit board and it's attenuated to a certain decibel level. It's really not that complicated. It's really not. I mean, they sell them in pedals too, like a little buffer pedal, but I'd rather have it on board, you know? Let's see. Have I been to any Billy String shows? No. I've watched some stuff. I think he's a great flat picker. He hasn't won me over on the Dead stuff yet. I was not a huge fan of the Billy and the Kids Red Rock show. I think he needs to work on his electric playing, but he's a great flat picker. I think he's really good. His voice is pretty good too. He's got the voice of an old man, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, like there you know, reasons. I know some people that know of him and feel like the way he got picked up really fast was a little suspicious. In the sense that his dad was in the industry. So, you know, you take that however you want. Let's see. For a beginner intermediate player, what do you recommend working on to play Garcia style guitar? This, what my course does. So it's chord inversions and like shows shapes and patterns. So it's really Jerry playing is a lot of chromatic shit. Mixolydian, which is basically the whole half method. Whole half method helps you stay in Mixolydian and Dorian depending on the key of the song. And that's how I play guitar. So that's how I would say to do it because chord inversions are everything. Knowing where all the different shapes of your chords are up and down the neck, that's how you learn the neck. Because it's like I got an E here, an E here, an E here, E here, E here. And then from there, you've got an A, A, and then B, 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 B. And then from there, you can link them all up with E, A, B. And you don't really have to lift your hand off of the guitar. So that shows you that everything is connected. Everything's connected. It's all the same shit. And then from there, you just connect it with whole half. That's the best way to start. Chord inversions. I'm catching up, guys. I'm a little behind. Let's see. 80s pop slaps. Stop Making Sense. Yes, it's fucking incredible. Stop Making Sense is yeah, dude. David Byrne is one of my faves. Like, I take a lot of my stage. Like, if you so knowing that I like David Byrne, watch how I perform now, because I definitely take a little bit from that manic, that little bit of manic touch. I throw that into my stage presence, and that's definitely from David Byrne. Dylan says, "Thank you. I've been watching your tutorials, trying to make my best to get better. I'd say I'm a beginner at best, but I've got down a couple." Dude, fuck yeah, Dylan. What songs have you learned? Kind of gonna through some burnout. I just can't bring myself to pick my guitar up, and it sucks. Well, Mycology, what do you think has you burnt out, bro? And sometimes a break is good, because like there's always a day during the week where I don't touch the guitar. Because I play so much, there's a day, at least a day a week, where I have to not touch the guitar because I love it. I don't want to get to a point where I don't like picking it up, right? So the best thing to do is preempt that, right? So start working into your schedule. There's a day off, right? But other than that, stay to it, and maybe you need to be a little bit more regimented if you give yourself like an actual like practice schedule. So like you're like, maybe even if it's just like 30 minutes to an hour a day, it's like start with some stretches, do a warm-up exercise, and then get into a song or something, or practice some other songs that you've done before. But like give yourself a time, give yourself an amount of time. And if you want to go past that, you can go past that, right? Because you're not feeling like you can't do it. Decronus says, you hit a lot of sweet notes. Do you have a strategy for sour notes? Okay, so when are you talking about when I fuck up? So when I hit a bad note, so sometimes I do the double down method. Do you guys know the double down method? If you hit a wrong note, hit it again, so it'll sound like you did it on purpose. I forget who said that. Is that Miles Davis? Is that Miles Davis that said that? Somebody said that. So it's like if I were to do is that D major. So you really just hold on. Let me think of something that I could contextualize this with. Because context is everything. It's all about context. All right, so this is an A. This is an A major. So got my C-shaped A right here. And then I'm going to hit like a bad note. It's really just about powering through it. So like you can either do the double down, do it again, or you can go from there. You can like slide it up, or you can do what Jerry would do. He would hit a wrong note and he'd do a half bend into the right note. So you can do a So that's also a good way. So a lot of the times, like he would catch himself, and you do that half bend. You do that half bend up into it, but you've got to really work on your ear to catch that bend properly. And then you can always just hit the root, or you can hit that next note down, right? So because usually what's happening is you're hitting either a whole step or a half step when you should be hitting the other, right? So you've just got to compensate. So that's really the only thing you've got to learn is like that compensation of, okay, am I like going to like slide down? Am I going to double down and fucking be like, no, fuck you. This is what it sounds like. But then that adds dissonance, right? So music, you can do whatever, dude. And especially with like the dead stuff, man, chromatics, bruh. It's like you can literally hit almost every note. So, shit. and to me, that's really just like using your vocabulary to the best of your ability. Like you're really getting everything out of it. So if, but also I just hit a lot of chromaticisms. That's one of the main things that I take away from Jerry's style is that. Because for some reason to me, that's just one of those things that like clicked in my head of like, oh, that's effective as fuck. Right? Because there's so much within that. You're taking up all of this dead space. And when you don't use them, it like, because then you're giving more contrast. I'm all about that. Guys, if you haven't, hit the like button, please. Helps us out a lot. It's a lot kind of new. What pedals do you have for your Jerry sound? So that was originally, so he had, Patrick asks what pedals I use. I was actually, today was going to be the release of my 2022 Jerry rig. So yesterday I was in the middle of filming and I had a beautiful shot set up. I had my pedals set up all beautiful. I was going to show you guys everything in the studio and show you how I get my sounds on the computer. I was going to show you how all the pedals sound, all that shit. I was going to show you all that. And then the audio got deleted. And so I just quit right in the middle of it. So I'm going to have to redo it all. And so that's why we're doing this today. So yeah, I use, so my amp, this is my amp. This is my live amp and my studio amp. This is a 100-watt amp. This is the Milkman, the amp 100, right? It's about $900. And what it does is it can run straight into my board for my computer. Like it has a direct out on the back where you don't have to have a cab run to it. So a lot of amps, they have to offload the ohmage and the wattage to a cab, right? It has to offload to a speaker, right? It has to go somewhere. With something like this, nah, you just run it straight out. It's got a balanced out. It runs right in. It's got a cab simulator in it, so you don't have to get a cab sim. You can still get a cab sim. You can run it clean out of this into a cab sim. So technically, I could get one of those two-note ones that people have now where they've got like where Jay made a, was it Jay that made it or Waldo? Somebody made a model on there of having the Macintosh and the JBLs. So you could technically do that for a computer setup. But I don't know how much those things are. But I have, I got a pretty big pedal board, man. I've got 2 EQs on here. I've got a Spark Booster, the Direwolf, a Boss DS1, a Mooer, Pure Octave, a Mutron, Microtron 4, a dripping delay pedal, a Jer drive. And so, like, I will be making that Jerry rig video, but next week you're going to get a lesson. But we'll get it figured out. We're still catching back up after the course, A little stuck in the pocket. Well, I mean, like, just rule of thumb, if you're trying to dial in, if you're trying to dial in a Jerry tone, the easiest way to do it on any amp is to take your bass all the way down, your mids and your highs all the way up. And from there, you can kind of like, and try to run split pickups. So run your pickups in the middle position and have your tone all the way up on your guitar and probably your volume all the way up. And then from there, you can kind of like dial things in and out to get them where you want them and fucking put reverb on it. Let's see. Oh, you're waiting on your wolf from Fred. So, but hey, man, you can always just get one of the buffers, right? You know what I mean? You can have both of them and you can test them out. I will be doing I'm working with Jerry Tone Store, Jay Ferris. I'm working with him right now. We're gonna do a video together, and then I think I'm gonna do a video of the different buffers. So I'm going to like mod Birdie to have all 3 of Waldo's buffers in it. And so I'm going to turn this switch and do a 3-way switch for switching between the buffers. And I don't think anybody's done that yet. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a thing. Let's see. Yeah, voice of an old man. He straight up has that. Sugar Reef and Play Dead, and you got a $100 bill for that on Easter Sunday morning in front of the convenience store. Fuck yeah, man. Good man. What up, Matthew Ebel? Not dead related, just got married. Wife bought you a new Ultra Strat as a gift. Got the wrong neck, so we have a rosewood exchange going on. So stoked to get it all set up. Fuck yeah, bro. That's awesome. Congratulations on the wedding, and congratulations on the guitar. How often do I do what? Let's see. Can you show some ghost bends and how to use them effectively? Are you talking about pre-bends? So pre-bends, I hope that's what you mean by ghost bend. Or do you mean like, or a... Jeff, talk to me. What do you mean? So I don't use the cage system. I mean, kinda, but it's like I teach it. The way that I teach chord inversions is almost more easy than the cage system because it consolidates C and D and G and A because they're the same. So I don't fuck with it because like why would you do this? And when you could do this and make it a more full chord and have more shit to play around with, especially when, unless you're doing like the those, that's good for that, but you're staying centralized to those three strings. And then the A is just G shape. And the way that it correlates to the whole half method is that when it's just the way to get between them. It's literally just the amount of spaces in between them. So you're either going to be going a whole step, and a half step, or you're going a whole step, half step, or a whole step, or a half step, whole step. It's like it changes depending on where you're coming at it from, but it's still that same general idea. And if you know all your chord inversions, it's a no-brainer because all you're doing, so take the EAB, for example, and all this stuff is in the course. All this stuff is in that course. So if you want like a more detailed thing with charts, all that jazz, about all of it, that's all you got to do. And the details about it are in the description. You just got to send me $130 to Venmo or PayPal, and I will send it right to you when I'm done with this. But you got that EAB. You've just shown yourself that you can play all of those, right? So if you're going from this E major, your E-shaped E major, to a C-shaped E major, and you start on that A string, that's a whole step, half step, to the next one. It's just patterns. It's literally because that's the only way psychedelics, baby. You see patterns and shit, right? So that's how I was able to figure out the way that I do it. But it's still like people have figured this out before. It's not anything new. It's just the way that I describe it. And then so ghost bends or pre-bends, they come in handy because they can actually. They can help kind of reset what's going on and also add some mystery, right? So if we were doing, you got that Franklin's thing going on. And if I wanted to come in with a bend, a ghost bend, pre-bend, so it's basically you're just reversing a bend. You know what I mean? You're basically playing a bend in reverse. Does that make sense? And then you can really throw it in anywhere. It just depends on, because it does kind of bring things to a little bit of a stop, because you've got to have that moment of silence, right? Just that split second of nothing, and then into the downward bend, right? Into the release. Todd, that is good man. Good man. You do have to take it a step at a time, because like if you don't understand the concept, or you don't get all the way through your chord inversions and have them down, the whole half method is just not attainable, because you don't have the chord inversions down pat. Let's see. What kind of pick do I use? So most of the time I use Jazz 3s. These little guys. I've been using them since I was like 15, and I love them. And I know people are like, well, for Jerry stuff, you need to play the Adamus or the Telefunkins. But I compromised. So there are these John Petrucci. He has these custom Jazz 3s that are very similar in weight and feel to the graphite picks. And so they kind of give you that same kind of idea. These are a little bit bigger. They're a little bit bigger, but it's still not huge. So this is my kind of compromise. So you can hear the difference. This one has a little bit more attack to it, right? So, but this one I'm just so comfortable with it, because again, like 15 years of playing with these. Adamas aren't the best for beginning guitarists in my experience. Tried using them the last year and a half when learning, and switched to lighter picks, and it's going much better now. Yeah, I mean, they're heavy and they're thick. These are great because, first of all, they're tiny, but there is no give to them, really. There's a little bit, but you have to press pretty hard. Like for me, I need something that's like not going to fight me back, because this tone is so clean. Everything has to be so deliberate. Every fuck up is super noticeable. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just kind of take the guesswork out of it and just completely control. And there's also that idea of like, I don't know if you guys see when I'm playing and stuff like that, there's a lot of nuance that goes on in the right hand. What was it Joel told me yesterday? Was it like your left hand is your influences and your right hand is your personality, or it's you? Your right hand is you. I liked that. But it's like sometimes you get into this like kind of circular picking pattern. And so that kind of comes from just moving your thumb and your finger there. And like, because you got to think too, like, because Jerry, that's kind of a Jerryism that I take, but you got to think he didn't have that finger there. So he's able to like move those fingers in this kind of way. And if you watch old videos and stuff, you'll see that. You'll see him like moving these almost kind of like autonomously from the rest of it. And yeah, so in some songs I do the hybrid picking, especially Sitting in Limbo is one of my main ones. So that's like I'm using. You see how I'm moving my middle finger out of the way so my finger can do that? So like that's something too. That's kind of like a more advanced, it's definitely more of an advanced thing. Like anything right-handed is like, it's really hard for me to get that across to people because it's really hard to teach people rhythm. It's really hard to teach people rhythm. That's something that people kind of have to find, right? If you're not, some people have natural rhythm and some people have to like, you know, really get down in the fucking dirt and learn it. But that, I think that comes with time. I don't think that it's really hard for me to help people with that, especially like if I'm trying to teach the jerry chug or the gallop. So like if you were doing like Everybody Needs Somebody, so it'd be like, it's kind of like a half palm mute downstroke, and then it's and you're like really focusing on these bassier chords because without the bass in the mix of the guitar, it has this really kind of throaty. And so if you and also comes up in like The Harder That Comes, be like, they tell me of a pipe in the sky, waiting for me when I die. And then also he would do the thing in like a lot, and throughout the 70s it was kind of like the disco thing when they would do like Eyes of the World. So it'd be like right outside this lazy summer home, you ain't got time to call your soul a gritty no. Right outside the lazy gate in the summer home. I always thought that was a lot of fun. It's a very interesting thing. I think I'm going to sing up the guitar and the lyrics. So they love each other for some reason. Dude, it's hard. Okay, so they love each other is difficult. So I always do the one when I'm starting the phrase, I always do it backwards. I always do the So I always do a merry run around, sailing up and down. And like that stuff's kind of hard. Like singing while you're doing lead stuff isn't the easiest thing to do. So it's about kind of coming up with these almost kind of mnemonic devices or trigger phrases or anchor phrases or parts. Like I'm all about that stuff. So be merry run around. See what I'm saying? There's like certain areas where you hit it. It's that same kind of thing with China Cat Sunflower. So be like, look, oh, I like a China Cat Sunflower crowd, rocking jingle in the midnight sun. Our car, the dome body drippy silver, come on up like a crane, as it will star out through a dream like wind. So it's just kind of about like finding your little pockets, and it does take time. It is like connecting Lego pieces, absolutely. What's scale length? So this is a regular 25.5 scale length. It just looks long because I put the body at the end of the neck when usually the body's around here-ish, right? But I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'5". So I most guitars look tiny for me, so I made Birdie big. She's not like weirdly big. I mean, like the neck is the same as any other guitar, and you know the headstock is skinny, but like the body itself, I made her big. She has to be in a bass case to where it doesn't look goofy on me. So many tall guitar players look ridiculous with their tiny little guitars. You noticed my jackstraw lesson is a little different than how I play it. It's very possible. That jackstraw lesson was a long time ago. And also I probably did it like do it more like the album version. Yeah, because it's different. That's one of my favorite things too. Going from the minor to the major through like that 7 transition. Rowdy McFly, thank you. Davey, what software do you use to stream OBS Streamlabs? Also, are you using DAW first or going directly into PC? Okay. So, what I use. I have, we use Streamlabs now. We used to use just regular OBS, but we're also streaming to Twitch now, and then eventually our TikTok once we get up to 1,000. So go follow us on TikTok, even if you don't have it or whatever. We're not doing great on there. We're still figuring it out, you know? So we do that through Streamlabs, and then I'm using Logic Pro for audio because I have stuff that I do to it. So this is, so I can show you guys what I use. So this is what I use for all my streams. This is what it looks like. So these are all my tracks, right? So I've got a vocal track, and on it I've got a channel EQ. So if I take the EQ away, it sounds like this. Not the best. I mean, like these mics are really good, but this is not. You need a little bit of EQ. You need to zhuzh it up a little bit. So boom, you throw that on. Ooh, isn't that? Oh, it's so nice. And then I've got a compressor on it because this is a dynamic microphone, and dynamic microphones, they're not powered, right? So you have to bump them. And then I've got a stereo spread on it. So if I take that stereo spread off, it changes the frequencies in which my voice is coming through. Right, so I've put it on there, and an expander on it to get rid of the room noise. So if I take the expander off, there's a lot more room noise. It opens up quite a bit, but then cinched it up, baby, and now it sounds nice and clean. On my guitar track, I just have a stereo spread on it, so it's kind of like coming around all the other instruments. And it gives it more of an encompassing sound. And then on the channel that my synth goes into on the board, my guitar synth, the GK3 runs out to a GR20. It's got an EQ on it. It's got a compressor on it. It's got a little bit of a stereo spread on it, and it's got some reverb on it, right? Because I like my shit swimming. I like to play music like I'm in a fucking psychedelic dream, you know? I want to be swimming. And my acoustic channel, it has, since the piezo pickups in guitars are kind of dog shit, they suck. You got an EQ on it. You have a clear preamp. You have like a clear preamp plug-in running into it, right? And then I've got another little stereo spread on it because, again, I want it all-encompassing. I'm also trying to separate my voice from it, right? Because I want the guitar to kind of like come around it. And I do this because it's visual. So it like comes around your head like this with the guitar. And then my vocals are coming like right down the middle at you. It's all planned. And it's got a compressor and reverb on it. And that's what I use for my live streams. So there you go. Let's see here. Here's one. Jared played chromatically. This is hard to make sound right. What intervals or outside of scale notes help connect and open all 12 notes? So it's really about your choice, right? So you can hit all of them, but it's usually like you'll want to hit like a pattern of 3 or 4. So what I'll do is if I'm going off of an A shape, right? So I'm going off the A shape E on the D and G strings, I can do those next chromatic notes. I can go 1, 2, 3, right? And then I can go up to the G string and go 1, 2, 3. But then when I get to the B string, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the E string, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can do something like. So you kind of want to go in 3 or 4, right? So, I mean, those are kind of your choices, but you have to kind of like throw them off. So if you're coming from like an E-shaped chord, like if we're coming from this E-shaped A major, coming from this E-shaped A major, starting on that G string, you would go a half step, right? But you can just hit all 4, right? You can just hit all 4 of those on your way up to the C-shaped A. So I'm kind of like skipping over. So like I won't do them all. I'm not going to go. I'm always going to throw something else in there. The chromatics are just helping you get somewhere. You've always got to hit a point. You can't just keep going chromatic up and back down. I mean, if you're doing a repeating line, that's fine. So if you're doing something in like the other one, you can do it. You can do like a again, like repeating lines are just so you can kind of like draw a little bit of space to do something else, to figure out another tagline or another kind of like lead to go along with it. So you're really using those chromatics as your through point, because again, you're just kind of like you're saying more words, if that makes sense, within your conversation instead of just right. There's a lot more nuance to than this jazz, baby. There is a little bit more room for speed. Yeah. I know people get on me about that too. You don't have to play so fast. Do you play any steel pedal guitar? No, I don't. To lay me down on it? Ooh, I bet that sounds so fucking good. I got to get that. I got to get Joel on that. So we had St. Owsley rehearsal last night for our show on Friday. So we're going to be streaming that tomorrow night. We will be streaming the show. And it'll be good. But yeah, we have a pedal steel player. I think we're the only Jerry tribute that has a pedal steel. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. But we do it, and he also sings like a fucking angel. So It's going to be dope. We got a new bassist. His name is Evian, and he's out in Nashville. It was kind of like Snoop Dogg. Oh, also, guys, fucking tonight. So tonight on, so if you're a Patreon member, if you're not a Patreon member, the link is in the description. You can go join the Patreon. What we do on the second Thursday of every month, I know this is technically the third Thursday, but whatever. We always watch 2 movies with our Patreon members. We watch 2 movies with you, right? 2 full movies. It's kind of like Mystery Science Theater style, where Toby and I are watching the movie with you and we're making fun of it as we go along. It's called Flashback Flicks. So you can go join the Patreon for $2. For $5, you get the whole back catalog, where you get like, I think it's something like 20 or no, it'd be like 40 movies. You get some ridiculous amount of movies. Well, I mean, we're in it watching it with you, but it's still the thing. For $5, you get the whole catalog. But for $2, you can come watch them live with us. For $5 a month, you can watch them all, and you also get our extra special, extra gross podcast. So you go join and do that. It'll be a lot of fun. Dude, yeah, he was awesome. He's a really chill dude too. He came down from Nashville to practice with us on his fucking birthday. That is some fucking commitment, dude. That's badass. Been on this long acoustic kick, and I've recently been trying to tackle the chorus with the acoustic. Practicing the transition between the different chord shapes is a little slow going. Hey, but that's gonna, dude, think about, you're basically training on a mountain at that point, Chris. So good on you, man. Thanks for the insight today. Off to teach. Well, good luck shaping minds. Good luck shaping minds. Have fun storming the castle. All right. Well, any more pressing questions? I gotta go do my grandmother's lawn. What up, Uncle Deadhead? What you got, baby? Let's see. All right, so it must have been the Roses. So you've got that. I mean, they're those little the long brown hair. Okay, so yeah, I was waiting for somebody to stop me and be like, that kind of thing. We've already done Blast from the Past. Go check the fucking the back catalog. We've already done Blast from the Past. Brendan Fraser's our boy. Yeah, tonight, I forgot to tell you. Tonight we're watching The Mummy and Bedazzled. So Brendan Fraser is having a Fraser-sance right now, but he's always been one of my boys. We've done quite a few Brendan Fraser movies already. But tonight we're doing 2 more, and it's going to be great. You mustn't read from the book. It's like my favorite thing ever. The Mummy, Rachel Weisz. You know what I'm saying? So, long brown hair. So, So you talking about that kind of thing, those little fills right there? So what I'm doing, so it'd be like, in a long brown hair. So you come back around to that D. Do you swear every damn day? So I'm just kind of using between that 7 and 9 on the A and the D strings, right? Because you're kind of going between the D major and the E major, so. And then it just comes back down to that D root, that 5th fret on the A string. Long brown hair. And from there, you're just doing, okay, so F sharp minor is the minor relative to A major, right? So if you're doing an A major and you just lay on an E minor shape, you got an F sharp minor, right? So you just work your way into that using those same. This is the Bob minor shape. Thank you, Kyle. So you've got this whole area. Because you're basically in A. The song's in A, right? So you're basically hitting any of those notes within that. I listened to the 10-minute solo from Shining Star, 11/1993. More than likely, I fucking love that song. Honey, you are my shining star. So good. I love that song. Don't you go away. All right, guys, what we got? What Golden Road go over those jazzy Mixolydian fills. So what it does is I'm teaching, in the practical use section, I teach you a little bit of that stuff, but the main idea is showing you the actual idea behind what I'm doing, showing you the notes. Like I show you, I give you charts of the whole half method where it's like you just have all the notes. And then I show you how all of these things are all connected. So it's like you will just be able to see the fills. Like you'll be able to have the the vocabulary, right? The grammar, the diction to be able to do it, because it's all about like what you hear, because you hear those things. But like what I'm doing there is just like I'm just going along with like the vocal line of it, and I'm in key. So it's like, so the chord progression is a B major to an E major 7, right? So right? So you're just honey, you are my shining star. I'm just hitting the chords. That's all I ever do. All you're ever doing when you're soloing is tracing chords. I promise you. Because you got a B, right? And it's also the second half. It's the fucking bottom half of that E major 7, right? Same shit. So you get all these notes. That's why you need to buy the course, man. Like because I show you that you don't have to look at a scale chart. I'm not teaching you scales. It's a pattern, right? It's because it's the same, right? It's the same thing all the way up and down. That's all I'm ever really using. Like I'm never thinking about scales. I'm never thinking about modes. I'm only thinking about chord inversions and the whole half method, or the shapes that go along with it. Because all you're ever doing is tracing chords, or you're tracing the chords that you're playing along with. Because most chord progressions are all relative. Right? So a lot of times when you see an E major, it's going to be around an A or a B or maybe sometimes a D, right? So all of those are all within this, or there's either an EAB or an EDA. Like you're either going to go those ways, and those tell you the notes. It's like the chord inversion of the whole half method is basically a key. It's like a map. Right? It's the golden road. That's why it's called that. So it shows you where to go. It just gives you all of it. That's all I'm ever doing. This is what I do. This is my secret. Not a secret though. Not a secret at all. Just shapes and patterns. One pattern. Same thing. You just move it up or down. Same thing with all the chord shapes. Same shit. It's all the same. Because all I'm doing right there, that's a C shape. That's a C. And a lot of the time, you'll just notice that Jerry is playing from these chords, these C-shaped chords. Just tracing it. Yep, that's that. Chris, you got it. See, I love you, bro. You guys get it. See, it takes time, but it's really not. Once you get those chord inversions down, everything else ends up just being a fucking breeze. And it also helps you learn songs so much faster, because knowing those different chord inversions, you can actually find out where people write it, because people will always pick the easiest way to get through chords, right? So it's like if you're looking at the Cats Down Under the Stars chords, like if you're looking at how to start it, so the progression is this. Right? It's super easy because you're just going down the neck. But a lot of people would read that and be like, starts on F, so it's F, E minor, D minor, A minor. You see what I'm saying? Like, instead of just understanding that, no, I know these chord inversions and I can. So I think it's really important. It helps you, again, it's all about context. It helps you recontextualize everything. Because then you can just kind of like play around and be like, okay, especially if you go and listen back to it, you can usually hear which inversion they're playing. You can hear what part of the neck they're in. And if you know what key the song's in, you're like, oh, that's what they're doing. Because a lot of the time, even with, like, again, Franklin's, Jerry would play Franklin's down here. He would do the... Right? And where would Bob play it? Bob would play it up here. He would do... So that's it. Context, baby. Let's see. You've been trying to use the A minor shape with your pinky first, then transition to the C shape to get that hammered down. Oh, just kind of doing that kind of thing. Yeah, so like, yeah. Get that pinky work down. Lead with your pinky. Let the rest of your hand follow when you're doing those shapes. You're really used to playing it with the open F chord shape. That is? What are you talking about? Open F chord? Are you talking about the E major shape? This guy? Open A minor without using the rover. Are you talking about this guy? Oh, okay. The cheated E shape. Like that? Yeah, it makes sense because you're hitting that open A. That's fine. Yeah, I'm all about cheating chords when you can. So this is just an E shape. It's that same thing. You're just cheating it. And I'm all about it. So the cowboy A minor shape? Are you trying to... Is that what you're trying to do? Or are you just trying to go to C? Fret 1 and 2. Yeah. Well, fuck yeah, Ian. Did you finish all three of them? Which one did you finish? RK Monkey, thank you. And Dave Kennedy, thank you. It's already committed several scale patterns to your fingers. Yeah, dude, I love y'all. Only the first one. Yeah. Well, no, that's the most important one. Lady with a Fan is the most important. But I love you guys. And so join the Patreon. Come watch Flashback Flicks tonight. The link is in the description below. $2, you can watch it live with us. $5, you can watch it live and get the whole catalog afterwards if you like it. I love you very much. I mean, like, you can, if you don't like it tonight, you can unsubscribe. It's just $2. You know what? See if you like it, and then maybe bump up to the $5. You know what I mean? What do you get? You got $2 to lose. Come on, come hang out tonight. Okay, you got to join the Discord. It's in our Discord. When you join the Patreon, they'll send you a link, or they should. But if they don't, send us a message, and we'll get you the Discord link so you can get in. Right? It's pretty simple. Don't be overwhelmed. Just go do it. It's gonna be fun. I love you. And we'll see you later. I'm at work, bitches. Watching live. Love you, Anthony. I'm sorry you came in at the end, but I love you. Bye, guys.